Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to Friday Night WrestleCast for September 4th, 2020. Oh, man, the years just keep flying, man. Keep flying. And this is for AEW's All Out 2020. I am your host, Adam Vale. Tonight, I'm joined by Dana Abercrombie.
What's up?
I was thinking about Ricky for a second, but that was Richard Bailey Jr.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
And Ricardo Negron.
Summer may be over, but wrestling's heating up.
Yes, wrestling is forever, for life. You know, and then also hearing that there's even more wrestling. The MLW is coming back with a new name. I don't know if you guys heard this, but it's getting a whole new branding when it comes back from this whole COVID situation. And I think they're getting like a primetime TV slot, as opposed to what they had on Mark Cuban's network. I think it was on Mark Cuban's network.
I think I remember that the MLW was on like BN Sports or something.
Yeah,
like
BN Sports. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had Teddy Hart. They had Ricochet over there. I think there's another big name that's over there now who left WWE. Trying to blank on it, but well. That doesn't matter because right now we're just talking about AEW. So this is All Out. We've had a lot of shows. What is it, like 3 pay-per-views back to back? You know, now leading into this, we had the 2 WWE ones, the SummerSlam, 4 Takeover, some of them Payback.
And so we had SummerSlam, and then this week we had Payback, Raw, you had NXT, you had Dynamite. You had SmackDown again. Now you're having All Out. You had 6 wrestling shows in 7 days. I don't know if there's stuff on Thursday. That would be a whole week right there.
Oh, man. That is nuts. It has just been crazy. And a lot going on in wrestling altogether. In fact, some big news. I would say breaking news because this news came out. What do you think, Dana? Maybe like toward the end of the day, around like 5, 6 o'clock? Toward the end of the workday?
I don't know which news you're talking about because a whole bunch of things dropped today.
The one,
including people.
Well, I thought you were going to cover it as one of the 3, but I'm assuming the one with the third party stuff. I think that's big news.
That was. See, I didn't know because we have like some people got released. We got some Vince was like, "Oh, I control you."
There you go. The controlling one sounds fun. Let's go with that. All right. So there you go.
Okay, we good?
Yeah,
all right.
We're good.
Awesome. So it was announced today. Wait, can you hear? Okay. Yay, sorry. It was announced today in a new report from WrestlingInc.com. Very weird that Vince McMahon has threatened WWE talent, stating that they must stop engaging in third-party platforms such as Twitch, TikTok, or any other ones, the YouTubers, within the next 30 days, or they will face possible suspension, fines, and other penalties. Now, here's the very interessante part that no one really kind of knew until now. We all know that WWE owns kind of like their wrestling names, right? So, for example, the whole, Pentagon Jr., just throwing out a name, for example, that's a wrestling name. So if you wrestle for them, they own that name. But it also seems to be that they own your real name, as we already know with Cody Rhodes in that situation, but they own your real name and your likeness.
AAA owns Pentagon Jr.'s name.
I was just throwing out a name.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean like, hey, WWE owns Pentagon Jr. I was trying to just think of a name at the top of my head, and Pentagon came to my head.
All right, because I was just talking about him. He's got his toy coming out. Go pre-order it.
So there was a letter that was issued that stated that it was imperative that they promote and protect the brand in every conceivable way, and that the talent, like I said, you have 30 days to stop engaging with these third parties. It states, and I quote, "Some of you are engaged with outside third parties using your name and likeness in ways that are detrimental to our company. It is imperative that you put a stop to this and stop these activities or face termination within the next 30 days, which will be Friday, October 2nd, and continued violations will result in fines and or suspensions, and that he stated that these actions are necessary as part of WWE's rebuilding process as they enter the next phase of growth at WWE. Now, what's also very interesting about this whole situation is we already know through multiple incidents and statements made by the McMahon family, they view wrestlers as independent contractors. So legally, I don't know how this will play out.
Well, I call bullshit on this. I have to call bullshit, and I'll tell you why. And it's an easy one. At least when it comes to the New Day, and with everything that with what's his name, Apollo Crews, and what he has with his gaming, up, down, down, and all that. They've promoted that on their network. They use that to help promote when he does Comic-Con and he does all these other appearances. That all helps. So I don't see how that's impacting. What I think is going on, if you remember, a while ago, they talked about how they wanted to make new content for the network. And one of them was bringing in a podcast. Remember, they were doing that whole thing, and we saw with I think at one point, even before AEW, Jericho said that they tried to lure him to get on that network as well. You know, even Cole Cabana said at one point they tried to get him. Anyway, the point is, they're trying to see, and I think what's going on is that they see so many of their talent doing these type of podcasts, doing Twitch streams, plays, and all that stuff, and they see that that's bringing attention. And they're like, why can't we have them doing the same thing, but on our network? Why can't we just do that? And I think that's what they're planning to do. It's AJ, you can keep what you're doing, but we're moving what you're doing over to the network. And I think they're going to try to bring everything in-house. I don't know if they can pull that with Apollo Crews with his up, down, down, because that's already established. It's got like over 1 million subs. It's already out there. It brings them positive attention. I understand if all the other ones sort of like break character with the whole kayfabe and all this, but with his, it's different. And I can't see them just telling him, that's it, you're done. You got to stop.
Apollo Creed, not Cruz.
Damn, why do I keep saying Cruz?
Cruz doesn't have any.
Sorry, my bad.
Well, hold on. Let me make a quick comment here. First and foremost, it is Austin Creed. You got to put some respect on this guy because it's his birthday today.
See, there you go. Happy birthday. Yeah. He got his PhD and everything. My bad.
That's it. No, you good.
Xavier Woods. That's the other thing, because I try to avoid saying Xavier Woods.
What's wrong with Xavier?
I don't know. It doesn't make me happy. It makes me uncomfortable.
What makes me more happy than what is his name? Austin Creed?
Yeah, Austin Creed.
That doesn't work for me.
It works for me. That's his bio name.
So let me get this straight. So you're saying that with Austin Creed, he can no longer do the stuff that he's doing on YouTube because of this new ruling from Vince McMahon?
That's what people are saying, that he would fall under that whole third party because he has a very popular channel, and that's third party. It's YouTube.
I thought he collaborates with WWE on that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think this would be impacted.
Unless you're trying to say that they're going to move that format or that platform onto the WWE network.
But even doing that, I mean, at this point, I don't know how many subs AJ has on his Twitch channel.
And, you know, I just will make a comment and say I find this very funny that this announcement was just made the exact same week that AJ revealed on Twitch that he had contracted the virus. He had it a while back. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Vince didn't like that was said.
But you know what?
I don't see the correlation.
Like when you see with the up, down, down, it's all gaming stuff. They really don't go in depth on things WWE related. AJ has come out vocal when he's talking to his viewers. Remember, he came out and he said the whole thing about Paul Heyman and how he felt about that and about the Good Brothers leaving. When you start doing that, you're breaking the whole cycle and how you're supposed to, quote unquote, protect the business. Don't talk about these things. This is private matters. This is company matters, and you're even if you're pissed off, you just can't be that vocal. Not on that type of platform. And again, we don't know how many people are watching him on the live stream and how many subs he has. I'm sure he has a lot. So that's just a lot more eyes and a lot more ears listening to all of this, and then they start spewing it throughout the dirt sheets and on social media. And I think that's what they're trying to control, because we see a lot of other wrestlers that have the same type of setup, and they're trying to get out there. But I really do think that they're probably trying to cut that down and also pull in some of these popular aspects of what they're doing outside of the business and bring them more in-house. I'm like, right, how can we just link this to our network and put more eyes on it, but through our platform, and just get them, because remember, it is free. There is a free tier for WWE Network, so this now would make sense. It's like, hey, we're not charging your people to do it, but
even with the free tier, no one is subscribing. You still have under 2 million, and you've been around since 2016,
well, they
14?
They said, I don't understand that, because then they still said that they turned a profit with like record subs within like the last quarter.
I'm not surprised about that, because we are on quarantine.
But there you go. So they're counting subs as anyone.
They're
that just
talking about up. Even free.
Yeah, even free. So to them, that still counts, because that's getting their email, and that's more stuff they could send their propaganda to.
Yeah, but we don't know exactly how many people are actually watching the network.
What were you gonna say, Ricky?
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna simply say that it's a simple thing, and Vince McMahon's a control freak. And if he feels that he can't control the narrative of what his talent is saying, then he's going to try to squash it.
It was just a different time. We've always had dirt sheets. We've always had it, but never to this point where wrestlers themselves can just go out there and get so public when it comes to these forums. And he can't control this. I understand he's against it, but he has to go with the times. Unless this is in their contract that they're not entitled to this, I don't see how he can just say, I just made this rule and it's law. Well, that's not in, that's, I don't know, AJ or whoever's contract. It doesn't say anywhere here I can't do any self-promoting outside of this. I mean, we've heard this with CM Punk when he went to court. Remember? And he said, hey, I did some other things outside, doing some promotions and stuff. I had to tell them. They would say if it was okay or not. And then there were some things he said that was not okay, but then they would give it to someone else. So obviously it was okay. It's just whenever they want.
It's crazy that they have all these rules, and they're supposed to be independent contract.
Yeah, you can't do all that. You can't do all that. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of fine print, and unless that fine print is actually in a contract, I don't see how any of this will hold up in court, especially if they say, "Oh, we're going to terminate you." All right, well, under what reason? Just because you came up with some new rule? I'm a contractor. We have contracts. We have signed agreements. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming this was never stated, or else we wouldn't see these people doing these type of things.
No.
Having a YouTube channel, having podcasts, having Twitch channels.
Well, it was very interesting.
Unless someone broke a rule. And I'm assuming this is a rule that we've always heard. It's like, there's certain things you don't talk about to the public. And the only thing that keeps popping up is just all the stuff that AJ said about Paul Heyman and the Good Brothers during that whole... And I watched it myself, so it's not even secondhand. I was like, wow, he's really... Oh, he's pissed. He doesn't like him. He even called that it was bullshit, why he didn't want to go to the other show, blah, blah, blah. And he's breaking that third wall. You don't do that. In Vince's world, you don't do that. Go ahead, you can talk about other things. We've seen other, wrestlers are allowed to go on podcasts and interviews and talk and stuff. That's fine. We've gotten to that point. But when you go on your own platform and you just start mouthing off backstage politics and stuff, no, that's a no. So, but we've seen it all. Our other buddy that does it all the time, Randy Orton. So. Getting on Roman Reigns and his teeth and shit. So, all right.
Well, a lot of the wrestlers are currently very upset about the whole situation because, again, this is money for them.
Well, that's the other thing. It is money. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, if it is accurate and this is the law of the land. Because then what? You're really going to start fining these people? I was going to say it again. Well, I'll just say Xavier Woods. I don't know why today I'm just zonking out on his name. Anyway, Xavier Woods.
Well, today he was...
He came out, real quick. He came out, this was about, I want to say last year, when we weren't sure if he was going to resign with WWE. And he was sort of hinting that he was ready to leave. And he was talking about, oh yeah, I might move on, this and that, but he's talked about how he wants to continue his show. He wants to bring that to a network. He wants to do things in that realm. That's his after plan, like after wrestling. The life after wrestling for him is getting into the gaming industry with his show and doing other hosting gigs and just being part of it. Maybe even creating his own game company. That's his after wrestling. So if this push comes to shove, I could see him saying, you know what, then fucking take this job. I'm done. I made tons of money. You know, I'm established elsewhere, and I'm not gonna think about it. That's putting years of work that he put into this other project down the drain, or putting it on hold for who knows how long. You can't do that. Who's gonna do that?
Well, also, he's been campaigning very heavily to be the host of the new G4 network, or rebooted G4 network.
Oh yeah, I voted for that. I voted. I put that out. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's ready. He's ready. That's why I just don't think this is true. I think there's more to it, and it's probably certain outlets, but they have a great partnership with YouTube. Look at all the content and stuff that they do. They don't do much on Twitch.
No.
So that's why I think there's more to it. But we'll see. But that's the word going around today, and that was a big topic. What else you got?
We have a couple releases. The authors of Pain have been given their future endeavors. They have been released from the company.
Not surprised.
Not true.
Anybody? Rich, you surprised by this?
Anyone cares?
I'm not surprised, because even when they was moved to the main roster, the WWE has not used them correctly, and then they've always had injury issues in front of them. So yeah, I'm not surprised. But then again, WWE does not know how to use tag teams in general, so it really is not it's unfortunate. You know, again, they've lost a lot of teams, some that have gone to AEW. So that will show you that they don't know how to handle a tag division properly. So it is what it is.
Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at the same time. Like, not surprised in the sense that WWE has very little patience for people that they consider injury prone or whatever. But I am surprised because AOP had that legit size that Vince McMahon craves in a wrestler, and they looked very promising, like being paired up with Seth Rollins. At least I thought. I mean, they were pretty impressive in NXT. They were made up to be a big deal. Had Paul Ellering as their manager, and then suddenly.
Yeah, I'm just keep going. I'll bring up what I just posted after you go to.
It's like it shows this big thing on my screen, but anyway, yeah. They were impressive in NXT, but then they were dead on arrival when they got called up because they split Paul Ellering from them, and that pretty much set them up for failure. You know, you go in, you put Drake Maverick as their manager. It's like, well, that's a downgrade. No offense to Drake, but that was a flat-out downgrade. It didn't work out. They split up, and then injuries happened, and that it was unfortunate. I really felt like they could have at least because I believe it was Razor that was recently injured. They could have had Akam stay along Seth Rollins' side as the muscle of the group. You know what I mean? But instead, they kept the numbers low, and it's unfortunate. You know, I hope things work out for them in the future. Maybe they'll come back at some point, but I don't know. I think WWE made a mistake, in my opinion.
So here's the funny thing. It looks like Paul Ellering, though, is going to get the last laugh, I should say. He has an action figure coming out with WWE and Mattel. I think it's this week or next week. So it's kind of ironic that here it is. They leave, and he was let go before, but now he's back in toy form. So, and if you want to go get their action figure, they still have theirs on eBay. You can find it somewhere. It'll be a collector's item now. So, there you go. Authors of Pain. But, man, I'm not surprised. They just, one or the other, they were always getting hurt. And then WWE had no clue what to do with them. I still am baffled whenever WWE pulls these wrestlers, these popular wrestlers from NXT up to the main roster, and then find a reason to repackage them. I was like, isn't that the whole point of NXT? That you grab people from the indies, you repackage them in NXT, you give them a gimmick, you give them a foundation, and then you can boost them up, and now they're a known commodity, right? Now you know who they are. But no, for some reason, Vince still treats NXT like it's a separate promotion. So it's like, all right, we're going to bring so-and-so up. It's like, now we have to come up with a gimmick. What do you mean? He just got over with the one there for like 2 years. Yeah, that's not going to work. That doesn't make any sense. Authors of Pain should have just came up with Paul and just kept going down that road. But no, they get called up, they take Paul out, and they don't know what the hell they're doing with them. And then one of the guys gets hurt, and then they're gone for a while. Then they come back. Then they didn't know what to do with them again. And then you put them with Seth Rollins, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. Look at Sanity. Sanity was awesome in NXT. They were just on a roll, and Eric Young was on a roll, and then you bring them up, and we're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. Nothing. Literally nothing happened. No major feud, nothing.
Ascension was another example. They were super over in NXT, and they get called up, and they got
buried. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucked.
EC3.
EC3 was never really over in NXT. Nah, he wasn't. He got some of the pops because people knew he was, but no. What do you mean? We're just praising everybody else. We're just pointing out the facts. You know who was? Bobby Roode.
They did the whole thing when he came in. It was like,
yeah, of course they always cheer. They do all that stuff, but it wasn't long lasting. He still wasn't fully.
Samoa
over.
Joe.
Samoa Joe was super over. He became champ. Hell, he had a massive
feud
with
but
Finn
once
Balor.
he came in WWE, like
even when he did,
no one cared.
He had some good feuds. No, he had some good feuds, but he kept getting hurt. Then he had the concussion from the commercial spot. So his is different. It's not that we just don't know what to do with him. It's like he just gets injured. He had some good Royal Rumble moments for Samoa Joe, but Authors of Pain, they spent more time injured than actually on the active roster when they made it to the main roster. So I'm not surprised by this at all. It's sad though because they definitely had they definitely had a good look. They had a good look. Everything else was working, but there goes that. All right, what else you got?
Alrighty. So remember when Eddie Kingston made his AEW debut, wrestling against Cody Rhodes back a couple months ago, and everyone was like, oh my god, and I was like, oh my god, who is he? Well, shortly after that match, appearing on Dynamite, he received a phone call from WWE requesting that he come and work for them as one of their coaches at the Performance Center. And he stated that he received 2 calls.
Who called
WWE.
No, but who? That's the thing. It's very random for... It has to be someone he knows. It's not just... Don't tell me that Regal just decided to call him. You know what I mean?
He doesn't.
It's got... I wish he did, because this sounds like a very personal, direct type of call. All right, keep going.
Oh, thank you. I have your permission.
You know what? Just for that,
Eddie.
no, you don't get to go. All right, so Ricky, tell me about hockey. All right, no, keep going.
The shadification. He got excited too. He was like, "Oh, hockey, yes." He stated that the shade. So he stated that WWE was trying to kind of entice him with different offers to appear at WWE to premiere as a coach at the Performance Center, and he said that he kept turning them down on the call. He was like, "No, thank you," but this is what he stated. He said, "My thing was," and I told them, "I can't collect a paycheck if I didn't earn it." They were like, "What do you mean?" And my thing was, I was going to go in there, coach, be bitter and angry about coaching, not getting a shot. And these guys they love wrestling now because they're at the Performance Center, but no offense to them, they're just getting paid. said you're on the road, you're getting paid hot dogs and soda, but I would have been so bitter and angry about it. I couldn't have done my job properly. It would have been
He's talking about the
detrimental.
coaches? Is that who he's talking about?
He's talking about himself being a coach, because the thing is that he wrestled a lot of these guys in the indie circuits, and to just be considered a coach and not, someone who can wrestle with them, and being underpaid what he feels that he is owed and valued as a wrestler, he just couldn't do it. And he felt that his bitterness would overtake him. And his wife was like, don't do it.
I would have felt like this is total disrespect. When did he ever say he was retired? He never said that.
Yes, he did. He gave an interview where he was like, I'm retiring. So,
he did? Oh, I didn't know that. All right, forget it.
It was a while ago, and then he did another one with Chris Van Velen or something. I can't remember his full name.
Oh, so he did. That was one joke. I was like, shit. All right.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm done. I did all that I can do. And so he was like, I'm going to retire. And then he was like, yeah, you know what? I don't think so anymore.
All right.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I'm just curious, because we know there's a bunch of the managers and people in WWE backstage that are on furlough. So I'm like, who's left that would actually reach out to Kingston and say, hey, listen, I want... You know what I mean? Like, who's there? We know not Vince. We definitely know that and what, Paul Heyman? He's not in charge of that anymore. He's not dealing with it. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like trying to think who in the back there.
Why not Vince? The thing is that Vince is... I honestly don't believe that. No. They have been so focused on AEW and what AEW is doing to the point where it's detrimental to them. And you can't... Vince, at the end of the day...
This was before that match?
What?
Wasn't this
they've been trying to contact him for years, but he got a call right after he debuted on AEW for the whole Cody match, where they was like, "Look,
all right." So maybe somebody watched the match. Okay, I thought this was before.
I do know. Well, he said they've been trying to get him for years, but right after that match, they was really insistent. Which I don't think that it was something in the terms of like, oh, we really love your work. I think we know that you can probably be profitable to AEW and we want to undercut them. So just come over and join us and not really wrestle. Be a coach.
I don't know about that.
He stated that.
I don't know. Well, of course, that's going to be his view, but I don't think it was that.
If they offer you just to be a coach and to not wrestle and you're a wrestler, what do you not understand?
No. It's understanding that. It's just not seeing... I mean, there's plenty of other people that they could have gone that same approach, and they didn't. So
because they wanted to pay Rhino to stay home.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But that's Rhino. Rhino was an ECW champ. He's a legend. Kingston, he's a semi-legend on the Indies, PWG and stuff, but he was never on that level. For the longest time, people thought he was going to get there, and he just never got that shot. And I would turn down, if I was him, I would have turned down, even if I didn't have AEW, I would have turned down that job, because he never had a run in WWE.
He doesn't need a run. They would ruin him. Plus, he also stated that they would ruin him. His whole thing for not going with them was that he would end up being bitter.
Yeah.
They would ruin him, and they would put a muzzle on him, and you hear how he's able to talk when he's in AEW. They're not going to fully allow that all the time over WWE.
Which is funny when they had Enzo, and they let Enzo say a lot of the same type of shit. Enzo got loose with the lips, and Kingston, he gets very loose. So, like, if you're going to let Enzo do it, then definitely you can get Kingston to go in there, because he knows how to shoot a promo. I mean, we see it now. What did he tell that to Taz's boy, not Cage, to the other one? He says, I don't know whether fight you or date you.
Yeah, Ricky Starr.
Yeah, Ricky Starr.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, see, there you go. All right. What else? Or was that all three already?
That would technically be all three, and plus you had the news with the MLW.
Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. So, as you see, there's plenty of news out there, but you know what? There's plenty of the sites and podcasts that cover all that. What happened?
And Brian Pillman Jr. is going to actually return to MLW instead of staying at AEW, which makes me sad.
That's it. That's where he was. Remember, I was like, there was another big name. That he was a big star over there. Maybe he felt he wasn't going to get that shine, or maybe it's a money thing. I'm sure MLW was giving him a pretty penny because they were really going off of the whole Pillman family history. So, more power to him.
He gets to build himself up some more in MLW, and then down the line he could revisit going to AEW when they'll treat him like a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Ooh, shots fired.
We've talked about this before, and I guess it qualifies because this show is all AEW. We don't want every other wrestler that's leaving a promotion to show up at AEW. I hate whenever someone leaves. Oh, well, maybe they're going to AEW. Oh, or Rusev, maybe they're going to AEW. So what the hell? We don't want to fill it up. We've seen promotions that do that, like TNA Impact when they were called Impact. When they pull that shit, and then they just collapse.
They're still pulling it.
Well, now it's Impact and drop TNA. See, strike that.
Well, Impact is pulling it. Same company.
Yeah, well, different company now, different ownership.
Well, same feeling when I watch it.
That's what you. All right. Well, I don't because they had all the exhibition. And for me, that's what I watched it for, the exhibition. And when it started, I loved all the high flying. It was like lucha, but not lucha, and violent and crazy. It was fun. And
they have the replays.
And then you started seeing all these former WWE guys showing up, and then they would do their shoot promos. And then I noticed the pattern that they would always get title shots once they showed up, and then they would win these titles.
Like Impact.
And it just kept going. That's what I'm saying. It kept going. But then they would bring Hulk Hogan, and then they tried to revive the whole NWO vibe, remember? And Bischoff. And I was like, I don't believe this shit. And you got Nash there. And it was like, it just became a shit show. And it ruined it. It ruined it. And so I like what AEW is doing. They're trying to keep it their own. And if they open up the floodgates and they bring in all this former talent, yes, they're going to get the viewership because there's the interest. A lot of these are established names, these stars, they have fans. But what about the talent that you've been building up? What about the indie guys that you are putting on this platform, giving them a spotlight? Will they stay up top or are they going to drift to the bottom? That's the issue. Because, for example, Darby Allin, cool gimmick, right? Cool gimmick. But he's a smaller guy. If you look at the guys that they've been bringing in, they're all big dudes. From the one from Cage coming in, and big Brody Lee, big dude coming in. The Hawk dude. Oh my god, I'm blanking on names tonight.
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Archer. Big dude. You know, even Kingston. Kingston's a big dude. This is what I'm saying. I was like, Warhorse.
Just fat.
Yeah, well, he's still husky. They sort of hinted at some other stuff with him, but then they're all big dudes. Besides Warhorse, all these other guys who's not even signed, he's just someone that came in. But you know,
terrible debut.
Yeah, but everybody else, they're big dudes, and that's my issue is that you're gonna bring in these guys, and people have noticed this, that a lot of the former WWE guys that are there all become top guys instantly, get a lot of TV time, and some will get title shots and get put in prominent positions, story wise and stuff. We see it. So when you see certain people like Darby Allin, yeah, he's got an image, this and this and that, but is he just there to be fed to these established guys? And if that's the case, are they going to just say, well, you need to earn your spot or whatever? Yeah, we don't know the bullshit they're feeding him, if there is any on that level. But he has put in his time and evolved. And in other promotions, I remember watching him. He had a cool gimmick, and we still haven't seen all of it. He does some crazy shit with the body bags and stuff. Really fucking nuts.
I like the body bags.
You know, so that's the question. And then a lot of people notice it, and then the whole thing, Jericho still being relevant on this high level after the still having the title, and then not having title but still being a main card, whatever. And Moxley still being the champ and all that stuff. Okay, so we'll just have to see. The whole point is, and what I'm getting real quick, I just don't want to see this be the stomping ground for every other wrestler that gets disgruntled with WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact, whatever, and just go to AEW. That's not it. We want to see it shine. We don't want people just showing up there just for the sake of showing up. When this whole rumor of Brock, you know, oh, he's no longer with WWE, he's going to be a free agent or whatever. The first thing people, of course, but the first thing that you see on social media is like, oh, AEW. They have to pick him up. We have to. I
think that's like a troll thing. Like what I could say right now, Authors of Pain, AEW confirmed.
No, well, I'm sure people are saying that now. I'm sure. They're like, oh, they could use big guys, and they're a tag team. AEW's all about tag teams, right? So why not have them?
Yeah.
I was like, well, they want tag teams that are actually fit. These dudes that have 2 matches and something will happen, you know. So you can't. It sucks. It sucks, but it happens. It's true. It's true. It's sad. It's sad. They have a lot of talent. Those two. But that's the issue here. And I know that there's no or you bring in Brock, then what? What then? You're gonna have to make him look like the beast. He's gonna do the same thing, destroy all your top guys. Come on now, your top guys already dealt with him and had those feuds. Moxley had the feud with Brock, and now is a pain in the ass, and he hated it. Remember, he said he didn't want to talk. Brock didn't want to talk or do anything. So it's bullshit. Anyway, I call shenanigans. That's just never gonna happen. Even if he does leave WWE, I don't ever see him doing that. I don't see it.
No, there's no reason for him to.
No reason. All right, so let's get to this card. There are 10 matches. 10 matches. This is a stacked card. This is more stacked than all the other ones because some of them only had like 5 or 6 matches. So we have a lot going on here. All right, so which one do we know? Because we can go in any order with this. Let's go with...
Well, number 10 is the pre-show.
Yeah, you want to just do the pre-show. All right, so we could just do the pre-show. And that is the Private Party versus the Dark Order. What's it? Reynolds and Silver. And it's just a singles match. I'm telling you, I'm not into the Dark Order at all.
Thank you.
We talked about this. I forgot, probably like 3 or 4 episodes back. It was one of the AEW pay-per-views. And we talked about how they emphasized that Brody Lee, in order to be relevant, to actually look strong, he needs to win that title. It was before he was going against that title match with Cody. Right? And we all said he has to win. He has to win. And he did. They pulled a Brock versus Cena moment. He destroyed him. He looked very strong in that, and he won the title. Yeah. So... And Cody's off doing acting, whatever, but he's going to sell that he's not there, and that's cool. Go ahead, sell it. And that's what they needed. But when it comes to the other characters of the group, I'm not into it. So for this, I'm going to go Private Party for me all the way. What about you, Ricky?
Yeah, I'm the same boat. I mean, I understand them wanting to push the Dark Order now that, Mr. Brody Lee has gotten the TNT title, and it's like a big deal. But it seems like he's the big deal, whereas his minions are all a bunch of jokes. And, I can't think of any marquee wins from the Alex Reynolds and John Silver pairing. And, I suppose they could, if they want to push them, they could start now, but I don't see it. Private Party's just better, and I think that Private Party's going to win. So they're my pick.
All right, Rich? Oh, Rich, you there? Rich? Oh, I think it dropped. All right, Dana?
I am going to go with Private Party. Well, Dark Order just seems to be lost at this point. I don't really know their purpose. And yes, you have Brody Lee is now the champ, but I still don't know what Dark Order's purpose was. It was cute when they had, what's his name? Colt Cabana. They had like some form of a storyline, but now it's just flailing.
Yeah, I'm not into it. When they first announced it, the guys were just storming the ring and they were doing that whole thing. That was fun. And then they kept saying that the Exalted One was coming. Okay, it was fun trying to figure out it was going to be Christopher Daniels, it's going to be Matt Hardy. Big swerve when Brody Lee came in. But then since then, that was it. Like once he jumped into that role, it didn't trigger anything. Nothing changed.
The other thing to consider with Dark Order is that this isn't even their top tag team. Their top tag team is Stu Grayson and Evil Uno.
Yeah, Evil Uno, which I thought was going to be the leader for the longest time, Evil Uno. But I guess they pushed away from that. All right, match number 9. And this is one of the newer matches. Britt Baker versus Big Swole. Tooth and nail match. What the hell is this? Tooth and nail. Now, you said that this is happening at the dental office?
I believe this is happening at Dr. Baker's clinic, her dental clinic. Yeah, I think that's how they're going to do this.
And
let's have Dana do a prediction.
So what's the stipulation? A tooth and nail. What is that? You have to pull someone's tooth out?
I'm embarrassed to say that I'm not quite sure.
Because it doesn't even say. They didn't really clarify. Or is this just a brawl?
Let's see. It's emanating from Dr. Baker's dental office. Anything goes. No disqualification. False count anywhere.
All right, so it is a pin. It's a pin system.
That's from Tony Khan himself.
All right. So That's all right. So then it is a pinned match because all right. Once they say false count anywhere, false keyword false. So they're still gonna do a 3 count. All right, that would have been fun if they could pull out a tooth. You know, they could put like some little fake shit in the back. Like, I mean, we had Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio pop an eyeball. So
Exactly.
you know, there you go. Dana, what do you got for this one?
This I think is funny. Um, I I really don't want this match yet. I'm sorry. I like them better not wrestling each other.
Well, that's the thing. Is Britt Baker 100%? I don't think she's 100% yet, which is why I think they're doing it
I
the way they are.
think she is 100%, and I think she's been 100% for a while, but they just kept that whole gimmick going because it was getting over so well. You know, like the whole thing. Remember when Cesaro's teeth was knocked in his skull, and he just kept wearing that whole
Mouth guard.
thingy? Yeah. But in regards to this, I don't care who wins, and this is not saying I'm not interested. It's because I like them both so equally. But at this point, I really believe that in order to fully I think they're both over, so I can't even say to get over. And I think that if someone loses, it really doesn't matter. But it would be more hilarious to watch Britt Baker lose and then have like a complete mental breakdown behind it.
It's tricky with this one because she is the heel, and Big Swole is the face in this one. So, yeah, you're rooting for Britt Baker because she's coming back from this serious injury, but then at the same time, she's been the heel constantly, going after Big Swole during her matches, undermining her and demeaning her and doing all that stuff through all these weeks and months now. So you want to root for Big Swole. So, yeah, it's up in the air on this one. I would say I want Big Swole to get her comeuppance on this and just say, you know what, you started this fight, you think you're ready to fight, I'm going to kick your ass in your dental office.
I wonder if Madison is going to be involved.
Yeah, there could be some interference. That's true. Could be. But well, if this is, most likely this isn't a one-off, this is going to be the beginning of the feud. At least when it comes to the physical part, because verbally it's been going on for months.
Yeah.
So.
They're eventually going to have like a real match in a ring, but this is going to be this like basically a gimmick match, and if I could actually make my prediction, I'm going to agree with you, Adam. I think that Big Swole will win and get the comeuppance because in this kind of a match, like this is happening in Britt Baker's office, but it's that one of those things where like you have home court advantage, but it ends up going to your disadvantage. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like it plays itself to a lot of comedic violence, and that's probably what we're going to see a lot of. I can see Big Swole winning this, and they're going to continue it later, where like Britt Baker will attack Swole again, and on Dynamite or something.
Yeah, and Rebel will be with Baker. That's what they confirmed that.
Yeah.
So
she'll have to take Rebel out first. Before she could finish.
Oh, was it Rebel?
Rebel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rebel, yeah.
I said someone else. I don't know why.
You said Madison.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I'm just randomly throwing in names.
But I knew who you were talking about. I was like, oh yeah, but I was like, I know it's not the name, but I didn't remember fully until I was like, wait a minute, it's Rebel. Okay. So you're going Big Swole. I'm going Big Swole, and I think you, Dana, you were cool.
I went Swollen. I was swollen. I literally anyone could win. I'm just excited.
We're all swollen. So there you go. And you know what? I'm glad things are working out for her in AEW. Her husband, Alexander, things are working out for him right now. Looks like he's got some interesting storylines going on with the Hurt Business and stuff. So this is good for the family there. That family's doing well right now.
Richard,
hold on a second.
Oh, Rich is back.
He woke up.
Rich is, for those listening, Rich is on some medication. He got some food poisoning, so it's understandable he's dealing with some bad tacos or something.
No,
he's battling it.
I'm all right now. I think everyone had made a very good point on who they think is going to win. I'm going to go in the opposite direction, and I'm going to say Britt Baker wins because even though things are good for Big Swole, if you ask who does AEW care about most, I think it's Britt Baker because they see how she's been getting over, even though she's been injured all this time. So I would say Britt Baker is probably going to win this. And if it continues, then Big Swole can eventually get her comeuppance. Because I think once Big Swole wins, that should be the end of the feud. I don't know if she needs to win right now. If they have plans to continue the feud, then I would just have her win later.
Yeah,
on when they have a rematch or something on Dynamite or something.
The only thing is that if we were to look at this just on paper, it looks like a predictable win for her, though. Because it's like you said, home field advantage. She's going to have her buddy Rebel there. It's like, how is Swole going to overcome this? She's not. She's going to take an ass whooping and lose. That's why I'm just assuming she's going to figure something, and she's going to figure out a way to win this match because she has the card stacked against her. So, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, but you know what? When we were talking on the topic of gimmick matches, here's an interesting one. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Gavarro, and this is a broken rules match with the stipulation that if Matt Hardy loses, he leaves AEW. So I have a bunch of thoughts on this, but we'll start this off with you, Rich. What do you think is the broken rules? What kind of rules are these? Do you think there's going to be a taped match? And yeah, keep going with it. And what do you think about the whole Matt Hardy thing losing?
Well,
if he loses, he leaves.
Before I answer that question, I saw that Ricky sent me a message that wants to know what my prediction is for Dark Order versus Private Party. I think it's Dark Order because now...
That was the wrong answer. Okay, so... Can't believe you just said that. That medication is really hitting you hard, man. Because you just...
The thing is this: they have established now that Brody Lee is a threat because he is now the champion. So, I mean,
so you're just assuming that the rest of Dark Order is going to be involved. That's what you're thinking.
Well, no, I think that the rest of Dark Order needs to be elevated to be, or at least on the same level of the leader of the whole faction. So yeah. I would say Dark Order should win because then you are actually doing something with these guys as opposed to just having them just continue taking losses and have Brody Lee be the only one that actually looks like a threat. So, but hey, I love Private Party, so either way, I'll be fine with the outcome. But I think Dark Order is going to win that match.
So do you think it's going to be Dark Order winning, even though it's Alex Reynolds and John Silver, who are basically the 5th and 6th guys on that?
Yeah, they're not the main tag team, and we got Private Party, which is a quality tag team.
The main 4 are going to be in a different match that we'll get into later. So I don't know if that factors into your prediction or not.
Well, honestly, yeah, I didn't know about this match because this is one of the matches I wasn't looking at the card, so I didn't see it until you mentioned it.
Yeah, sorry, I should have said Alex Reynolds and John Silver.
No, you're good. You're good. So, Private Party is who I would love to see win the match. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. Because I mean, again, I feel like if you want to establish that the Dark Order as a unit is dangerous now, I think you need. I think they need to really consider. It really depends on what direction you're trying to take the actual faction.
Right, so not to dwell too much on it, but you know what? What if? Because like we all confirmed, these two are the weakest link of the group. What if they lose? And they get kicked out of the group, and then later on in the night, the other half of it, the other tag team that's part of Dark Order, they win. So there's like they call this the weakest link, and they get rid of these guys, and they trim down Dark Order.
You know what sounds like a better concept? I like what you said, but if they lose and they get kicked out of Dark Order, I want Dark Order to say, okay, why don't we bring Private Party into Dark Order? Because then...
Oh, no.
For Dark Order.
So that would be like a weird thing there, but the thing is, like, the thing with Dark Order, their whole gimmick is that they prey upon people who have been losing.
Yeah.
We're gonna make them into winners.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they've already been on a roll.
It'd be different if you had Alex Reynolds and Silver win their match, you know, and so like, let's say you stuck with your prediction, have Dark Order win. That'd be a way of kind of propping them up from the bottom up, right? And you can still recruit Private Party to join them. Be like, okay, well, you see what happens when you're with the Dark Order. You get on the winning side. So if you want to get on the winning side, here's your application. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, I don't think that will happen, but that would be quite a twist.
That would be. All right, but Rich, for this Matt Hardy one, Sammy Gavarro.
So Very simple. My personal opinion, Matt Hardy wins. In
Do you think
terms
this is a
of
taped match? For some reason, in my mind, I feel like this is going to be one of his
yeah,
compound type matches, but over at their Jacksonville location. I think it's going to be something crazy like that.
I think it should be taped because we know that Matt Hardy he likes to do these types of matches, and that'll be a very interesting way to see how Sammy thrives in that type of environment. But I think quite obviously Matt Hardy wins the match because Matt Hardy is the guy that came over to AEW. They made a very big deal about him coming over to AEW. I don't think you're going to have this guy lose.
You don't think he's going to lose? All right. What about you, Dana?
No, because Matt Hardy is not broken anymore. He's like, I'm basic Matt Hardy. Remember that whole video?
So that's what you're thinking. See, now you're going into something that I was in. For my prediction, I think Matt's going to lose because he will leave. I think it's that version of Matt. Matt Hardy will leave.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a whole other gimmick that he's been trying to work on. And I think that's who's going to return, who's going to show up in his stead.
You can say that, but then that would make his video statement that he did in regards to the Black Lives Matter and just being Matt Hardy and being a manager, what all for naught.
He wouldn't be a manager then.
Yeah, but him saying
He's
I'm just regular Matt Hardy from now on. I don't see him winning because I can't see Sammy leaving. He already just left.
But it's not for Sammy. If Sammy loses, he doesn't leave. It's just if Matt loses.
Oh, so it's just a one-sided stipulation?
It's a one-sided thing.
Then we all know that Matt Hardy is going to leave. But I don't see this being taped.
All right, so you
think I can't see this being
match.
something.
But it's weird. All right, so these broken rules. That's the thing. So broken rules. What do you think broken rules is?
Doesn't that mean no rules? Anything that he can make up on the spot. I mean, if we're going with Matt Hardy and we're going with the old one, then that would include the swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
That would include the compound.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to have something crazy like that. Maybe his father-in-law getting involved or something.
So then you have the father-in-law, Remy, the two kids, the new drone, because remember the old one
the other
was
one got destroyed.
Yeah. So and then you would have so it's the Lake of Reincarnation. He's the Lake of Reincarnation, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the Lake of Reincarnation.
So then I guess there you go. I mean, they have done a tape match before that was very successful. Stadium Stampede, knocked, in my opinion, WrestleMania out the park. But yeah, I mean, if you really go that route, and if you just forget the fact that he stated, I'm regular Matt Hardy, then I'm going to go with Matt Hardy because Sammy Gavarro, yes, he does in the sense of storyline wise, he just came back, so it would be nice for him to have that win, but at the same time, he almost broke Matt Hardy's skull.
Yeah, but that was an accident.
It was an accident, but it played very well. It was an accident that played well and followed up with a very good Matt Hardy promo while he was getting his head stapled. So, in that terms, I would want to see him get his revenge on Sammy, and he would win.
And also, we have to assume some of the inner circle are going to get involved in this. Or at least be at ringside. Something's going to happen. There's no way they're going to stick.
We haven't seen... He's kind of separated himself from the inner circle, where he was just kind of like the manager of Private Party, and then just kind of...
No, Sammy is the inner circle.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's with Matt, he hasn't... Since this whole thing has happened, he hasn't really tagged along with Private Party when he was doing that whole mentor thing. Because he's been on his own little feud. So.
Well, then, would you say being the Elite coming in then?
I don't know. They have a match later on, so I don't know. Well, it depends. It depends. It depends. It depends. But I don't know. I'll just say I think Matt Hardy's going to lose. I think that's the whole point of this, and he's going to come back as a different Matt Hardy. He has a bunch of characters up his sleeves. That was the whole point of him going to AEW, because he wanted to try all kinds of new things. Just being regular Matt is not one of them. He could have did that in WWE and just kept jobbing out. That's not what he wanted.
Well, that's what Jeff's doing.
No, Jeff. What do you mean? Jeff is the champion. Jeff got a title belt.
Well, I think that was
There
only
you
because
go.
the fan outrage from the whole.
He brings in money with the merch and the toys. People love him, and that's the thing. He could do no wrong. He could do no wrong. He's just that over. He's gifted in that regard. Because there's a lot of guys that just they can't do that. They have to really work to get the crowd. He doesn't. We've seen it time and time again. Live show doesn't matter. Whether drunk driving, drug possession, police raids, all that stuff. The next day, live show, give me his shirt. People are all about him. He just has it. You know, he has that charisma. That's what they say. So, all right. So, who else is left? Rich, you already picked yours. Ricky, did you pick yours?
I haven't picked mine yet.
All right. What you got?
Man, I've been going back and forth on this, because, if it wasn't for the stipulation of if Matt Hardy loses, he has to leave AEW, I would say Sammy Gavarro 100%, because he stands to benefit the most, especially if they're trying to build new stars. Sammy Gavarro is a young star that they've done actually a really great job of turning him from someone that personally I didn't know who he was to someone that is one of my favorite parts of watching AEW. But Matt Hardy, of course, he's someone that they made, like you said, made a big deal when he joined earlier this year. He hasn't been with AEW very long, and it just doesn't make sense that he would leave after only a few months, unless it's that theory that you have that it's not Matt Hardy the person leaving, but Matt Hardy the gimmick.
Yeah.
And it's come with another gimmick. I don't think that's what they're going with on this. I think they're trying to be like Matt Hardy the person would be leaving, and so I think Matt Hardy is going to win. I can't see him losing. I mean, it could be that's part of the shock, is that you made to think that there's no way that Matt Hardy will leave, and then he loses, and now he has to leave. That's something I could see them totally doing, but at the same time, I'm not going to take that risk. I'm going with the safe pick here of Matt Hardy versus Gavarro, and picking Matt Hardy to win.
Yeah, I just feel like you said it. He hasn't been there long, and to already have a stipulation like this that, hey, if I lose, I'm leaving, it's too soon for that type of match. So unless you plan on taking some time off, and this is the best way to go about doing it, because nobody would put you down as the underdog to lose this match, and then all of a sudden you lose it. Holy shit! But you just got there. What? I mean, we know that these things are written out, predetermined. So most people will be like, no, there's no way that he's gonna leave. He just got there. No, that's not gonna work. So it would be the big shock that he does lose.
So I mean, those two have had a very physical feud, and I know that. But prior to that, I guess they had a match, and Matt Hardy showed some respect to Sammy and is trying to convince him to leave the Inner Circle, and Sammy was just like, no way. And I wonder if they're gonna kind of make their way back to that maybe after a hard fought battle that Matt wins just barely, he'll try again.
Let's be the new Hardy Brothers, Hardy Boys 2.0.
Well, I mean, I've heard rumors that they're trying to get Jeff, but
yeah, time.
Yeah, they're
Man
always...
is 45, still coming up with his music when he was 16.
Yep, there you go. And still wearing the same outfit. That's the funny part. Still has the same. Oh. All right, so we'll see. But either way, I think that'll be a fun one to watch. So for me, that one and the Big Swole. I'm not crazy about the part, but the Big Swole and those two matches, Britt Baker, so far. All right, then we got the next one. Let's jump on to this one now. Match number 7. So we have the Jungle Boy and Lucha Express versus the Young Bucks. All right, I have my own opinions on this, so we'll just start. Rich, what do you got for this one? How do you feel about this match? We've seen this numerous times already. This is just a regular match. What are your thoughts? We have seen this numerous of times.
And if I was going to be someone who actually cares about the future of AEW, then I would give the win to Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, because the Young Bucks have nothing to gain from this match. These guys are executives, quote unquote, of the company. They don't need to win this match. So I would give it to, if you're trying to do something with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, they should be the ones that should win this hands down, in my personal opinion. That's who I'm.
All right, Dana.
Luchasaurus is such an odd group, just visually and just as they wrestle, but it all works magically. And honestly, to piggyback off of what Richard said, I'm kind of tired of them. They're executives. They run the company. I have this thing of like, I don't want to see the business mixed with the pleasure.
But we knew this was always going to be an issue. Once we found out how deeply involved they were with the company and how they're working with doing the booking and handling all the behind the scenes, we knew this was always going to be an issue because they are active performers. This was an issue in Impact when Double J was doing everything, remember? And his dad was still the owner. We knew that was going to play a part, and sure enough it did. He was king of the mountain and all that jazz, so this is always going to be a thing.
Well, yeah, but I would like to see them in a lesser wrestling capacity. Not to say go and quit. That's not right. If it's your passion, it's your passion. But just maybe lesser.
Like what? I mean, that's the thing. What can they really... We can't have them jobbing out every week. We know that's not practical.
No, lesser as in don't wrestle all the time.
Oh, they can't do that. They're a
I
draw.
don't want
They're
to
a draw.
any belt. I don't want...
They're a draw.
Yeah, but
people want
you
to
can
see
let
them.
other people shine and like maybe just do dark.
Yeah, I don't know. I knew it was going to be tricky. I knew instantly with them and Kenny Omega, and I found it very interesting what they did with Kenny when they first started AEW. Remember, he didn't win a match. He was losing all these matches and stuff like that, and big matches too. And I thought that was very unique because no one saw that coming. Because you're like, well, you got the Bucks winning all the time, and you got to look at Cody over here, indestructible. So,
well, look, the Bucks wasn't winning all the time. I think that whole it was kind of like joke was that they couldn't win.
No, they had they were winning. They were winning because remember they had the whole feud going on with the Lucha Bros, and they won out on that one, and they won the titles. They won the AAA titles.
Right.
Those tag teams. So who do you have for this one? You said you want the Lucha Bro. You want Lucha Express.
I want the Lucha. One, I really like the group in general, and I think the little guys need some more boosting. Marco Stunt and Jack Perry.
Okay, that's what you. All right, Ricky. What do you got for this one? No. All right, because I got my thing is going to shock some people, I guess. All right, so there you go. All right, so Ricky, what do you got for this one?
I think it's going to be the Young Bucks. I've pretty much given up on them giving Jurassic Express a proper push. They should have struck when the iron was hot back last fall. They refused to do that for whatever reason. And Young Bucks, the thing with them is that they're executives, but at the same time, they want to stay on top as one of the very top tag teams in the company. And it needs to be a big deal when you beat them. I don't think the Jurassic Express has been built up quite enough recently to do that. So I'm going to say Young Bucks win this. I seem to remember that at the last All Out, it was like Young Bucks against the Lucha Brothers, and I predicted the Lucha Brothers because I thought the Young Bucks would do the job to them, and I was wrong. The Young Bucks ended up winning. So I'm not going to bet against the Young Bucks this time, so they're who I'm picking for this.
All right. I picked the Young Bucks, and I think this will be the end for the Jurassic Express. I think it's time for Luchasaurus to get his singles run. This has been great to see them together, and it's cute and all, and we love it. But I think it's time for them to go solo. At least for Lucha. Luchasaurus. They've shown that he is, we already know he's the powerhouse of the group. But from the few losses that they've had, he's shown his frustration. And I think that this is it. This is it. Something's going to happen, and he's just going to walk away from this. And it's time for both of them to just go their separate ways. And with Marco Stunt, he's just there. And I'm sure he'll team up or do something with Jungle Boy. But I think this is it. A part of me, something about it just tells me like this is at least until they get crowds back, because this group, Lucha Express, is very much a crowd pleaser. This is something you have in a crowd. People love it. They're like, oh, this is adorable, big guy, little guys. Oh, this is great. But when there's no crowd and you see a match like this, it's hard to get behind them, at least all the members. And I just don't see it a reason why. Yes, you're like, oh, well, you got to put them over. Oh, let's put them over to go where? Are they going to get a title shot? Are they going to win the titles? No. I don't see them ever getting on that level. I think it's almost a comedy act. And they're quality wrestlers. They're all quality, but I just don't think the way they've been portrayed and how they've been used in the tag team division, and with all the major feuds going on, they're not part of that. They're not part of it. This is just a regular match, and this is just to have them both on the card. If this was a live show, this would be the crowd pleaser. It's like, oh, look, you get to see your Young Bucks, right? Yeah, whatever happens to them happens. They're execs. And then Lucha Express, you all like to see them, period, right? You don't care if they win or lose. You just want to see them. So I think this is it. We're going to see the end. Or if not the end, it's not going to matter. Bucks are going to win, and they just take the loss. And that's it. Party's over.
I could kind of see that as far as like putting the Rock on Luchasaurus a bit as a solo act. He's the standout of that group. He's a big guy, but he's pretty agile for a big guy. So he could do some moves. So
yeah,
we'll see what he could do with the proper push.
Yeah, and they sort of hinted at. I forgot. Was it? No, it wasn't Jericho. Oh man, I'm trying to blink. There was someone on commentary, but there was a few of them, and they were talking about it. It was during their last match, and he just kept hyping him up. Oh, look how good he is! Look how fast! Look how agile! He's such a big man. Look at him do these flips. This man could definitely do it. He could definitely have a serious run, and he can. He just needs to break away from this. And I think right now, this gimmick, this whole thing that they're doing, just doesn't work without a crowd. They need that crowd. That crowd reaction gets it over, at least for viewers. And so that's it. But all right, so we'll move on to match number 6. This is an 8-man, and this is linked to what we were talking about earlier. This is the Dark Order. This is Brody Lee, Cole Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson versus Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and we got the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall. Right, so this one is tricky. This one is very tricky. I'll just go first to get my stuff out of the way, and then we'll just move. You guys can go. For what we were just talking about with the Luchasaurus and trying to get people coming up and up and coming and stuff, if that applies to this one, then we would go with QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes and Scorpio Sky and Grayson. Because besides Dustin, the other 3, they can use it. They can use the comeuppance. They can use the win. But at the same time, Dark Order really needs all the wins they can get. They need to look strong. They need to destroy as many teams and groups as possible if they want to be recognized as a legit faction. So if that's the case, if you're trying to get the faction over than just these individual young stars for your promotion, then Dark Order has to win, right? So I'm just going to say, especially with the role with Brody Lee becoming champ, the TNT champ, Dark Order, and this puts them over as a legit force. So yeah, for me, Dark Order wins this. And it sucks because all the other guys, they all need the time. They need to get put on that level to show that they're quality, because they're all quality. But you can't do it at the expense of Dark Order when you're still trying to get Dark Order over as a decisive and one of these powerhouse evil groups. They need to start winning. You have to be a fearful group, right? Right now, I don't think anyone gives a shit when we see this match. We're like, oh, whatever. They'll probably lose. right? That's not what they want from the Dark Order. When they first introduced them with all these members, like, shit, who's gonna stop them? Remember, they were just coming in and kicking everyone's ass. I was like, yeah, we can do this. Well, we lost that vibe. So now, hopefully, they're trying to bring that back with Brody winning the title. And this should be one of those type of matches. It's going to be a brawl, but they're going to win decisively. So I just go Dark Order. All right, Dana, what do you got? Dana? Ricky?
Okay. I guess. Oh, Dana, go ahead.
Oh, there you go. It's muted.
Okay. I was muted again. Sorry. Basically, in regards to this match, everything that you said was kind of what I believe. It doesn't make any sense it took months for Dark Order to, actually do anything. It was brought in as this big faction, and then it just felt like nothing. And even when they did being the Elite, it just still, they was doing comedy acts, and it was like, why? So this is the first time that we actually see him as a major threat, and Brody Lee finally winning. Hopefully that is to steer us in the right direction, of common senseness. So for this, I wanted this to be a complete brawl match. I want the Dark Order and Brody Lee's company to continue to retain, because it just doesn't make any sense for them to lose this. And Cody and Brandy is gone for a little bit, and I know that Cody, he's doing heels, so he should continue to just not be in the picture and say that, he's recuperating at home or he's in the hospital, I don't know, tied up to the IV or something. Mm-hmm. But I want Dark Order to actually, in order for them to make any sense and for us to even continue to care or even to just start caring, they have to win this.
All right, Ricky?
So I think the Dark Order is the easy pick. When you have an established heel stable going up against a thrown together babyface alliance, I go with the established heel group. This is a bit of sacrilege making this comparison, but it reminds me of a diet version of the Shield's debut against Team Hell No and Ryback, where you had the established heel group going up against these guys who were banded together, just trying to take down this big bad group, and it just wasn't enough to take down the big bad group. The Shield won that pretty handedly, and I think, the Dark Order can't hold a candle to the Shield. Dark Order still has the TNT champion, and they've got some momentum, and they're running this with their best four. So while I do think that we'll see some spots where Cardona's going to shine, where Sky is going to shine, I don't see the babyfaces winning this. So Dark Order is my pick, and I don't even really have to think about it.
Rich?
The Order of Darkness.
The Order of Darkness. That is incorrect. It's what is the Dark Order for 200.
Yeah, Dark Order for many,
the Dark Order.
For many of the reasons that Ricky and already said, the Dark Order, hands down, they'll win this one.
Yeah, they need a win. Like you said, these are the top four of this group, so they have to start winning if they want to be recognized as a legitimate force, evil force. So, all right, but we'll see. I'm sure it'll be a fun match. Everyone involved is fun, especially on the babyface side. All right, so here's another fun match. In fact, almost every match on this card is going to be fun, from top to bottom. And this one is the 21-man Casino Battle Royal. So this is the one that has Darby Allin and Lance Archer and Brian Cage, Starks. Man, this is what's called? I was just going through the whole thing. We got because I want to also mention that there's a lot of tag teams in here. Well, we got Billy and Billy Gunn and his son. What's his son's name? Austin Gunn, both of them. Jake Hager's in here. Santana's in here. Ortiz is in here. Chuck Taylor. Trent. There's a to be determined. Whoever that's going to be. We'll find out. The Butcher and the Blade. Eddie Kingston, your boy's in here. Sean Spears is in here. Phoenix. Maybe it's Pentagon. Is Pentagon hurt?
No, that's him. Penta L0M is Pentagon Jr. I guess.
No, is he listed? I don't see Pentagon listed here.
Penta L0M.
Oh, there is. All right, there we go. All right, I'm zooming out on this. All right, so he is there with Phoenix. Yep. All right, so there, yeah, it's a stacked one. Now, the thing that they're all going to be in the ring at the same time. Right? This is just a battle royal. This isn't going to be like what they had at Double or Nothing, where people would just come down. Right? Unless they change the rules. From what I understand, that whenever they say this is a battle royal, that means everyone starts in the ring. They just ring the bell.
I thought they did it a little differently, where they start out with a certain number and then they start adding ones in there. Because if you remember, the last Casino Battle
Royale, that Double or Nothing
was a Double or Nothing. That's when Brian Cage made his debut. He didn't start the match. He showed up. He showed up at the end. Yeah, he was the wild card. He had the
so if that's where the casino part comes in, this is their way of doing like the roulette of anybody. Then it'll one person starts off. Two people start off, and then after I don't know how many minutes, another person will come in. Sort of like the Royal Rumble, just not calling it a Royal Rumble. And then we have the surprise entry. So, man.
Yeah, I forget exactly how many they start out with, but they definitely had.
Was it 4? I feel like it was more than 2. It did. It definitely had a different feel when it started up.
It would take forever if they went through, like they had to go through 19 more after the first 2. So
yeah, because that exactly. So it's got to be something. Has to be something different to it. And the winner here gets a title shot for the AEW Championship. So it's sort of, again, like what they had at Double or Nothing. It's like a Money in the Bank in a way. Well, or like the Royal Rumble, because Royal Rumble, you also get a title shot if you win.
Right.
So, same thing. So the big question here would be, is this the to be determined, do you think this is someone that's already in the promotion? Or, as we know, there's a lot of people that left WWE recently. I don't know a lot. There's always a lot of rumors of who's going to go. Oh, everybody's going to AEW who leaves. But 2 that have a lot of hype, behind it, has been Rusev and what's his name? The one with the rat that left WWE. That was part of the Wyatt family. Rowan.
Oh, Rowan?
Yeah. Those are 2. But then again, what did I say?
That wasn't a rat, that was a spider.
It was a spider? I thought it was going to be wasn't it a rat?
It was a spider.
It was a fucking spider?
Spider.
That's why. That's why. And I saw that reveal. It was in the back. I remember when they did it. I could have swore I thought, there you go. So, that's it. But then again, look, those are 2 big guys. Or maybe this, I don't know. This is going to be...
Brock Lesnar's contract expired.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Brock will be here. No. I don't. Right?
No, that'd be too big for that.
Man. You know what? This is going to be my fun pick. It'll probably be wrong, but fuck it. This is what I think needs to happen. They need to make up for their wrongs. Lance Archer's going to win this shit. They did him wrong with the Cody match. He should have won that title. And they did him wrong real quick. And then they threw him into limbo. And he was stuck on Dark for a while. And I think this is it. This is how you say, you know what? We dropped the ball with you. We were doing all this hype for the longest. We were trying to get you over. We're going to make up. You're going to go and going to have this match. It's going to be in this Rumble. And you're going to look strong. And you're going to win this shit. And then we're going to put you up in the main event. So now that's what we're going to do. So my pick, Lance Archer wins this. Doesn't matter who the TBA is. Lance Archer wins. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I just want to go next real fast because...
Yeah, that is you.
great, yes, because great minds think alike. That's exactly what I was thinking who should win this match also. Mm-hmm. For the reasons you said, so they can make up for the opportunity, because I'm pretty sure they are aware that they did not make him look impressive in his defeat.
No, not when they were hyping him for the longest time and then just have him lose like that.
Yeah, and then you have Jake Roberts in there also propping up this guy as a big deal. So I feel like, yeah, he needs to win this. I mean, I don't know who the to-be-determined person is. Although I will say, I don't think it's Rusev. That would be very, very surprising if it is. But I feel like, yeah, Lance Archer needs to win this more than anyone else. Whoever is in the match. That's just my opinion. But yes, continue.
All right, so you picked it. All right, what about you, Dana?
The CM Punk confirmed.
Psst. Nice.
No,
Nice.
but your theory of Lance Archer would be perfect because he really does need some form of a redemption story. So there's a lot of the AEW wrestlers in there, but I would just be heartbroken to just not say Eddie Kingston for the simple fact of how they have been building him up as being kind of like the secret. I don't know what you would call it, but the guy who's going to turn on everyone. Because remember, he came out the week, not this week, but last week, with the whole different teams and the tag teams being like, TNT knows drama. They have drama. Why do we need to have drama? And, trying to build them up, but giving us the whole wink, wink situation.
Yeah.
So it would be smart also to have him, if not the winner, then in maybe the top 4, the lasting 4 of the whole battle royal.
All right. Ricky?
Well, I will rule out any of the tag teams right now because you're not going to have anyone that's in a tag team win that oversized chip, which is their briefcase.
Yeah.
Well, I look at the solo stars, and I'm gonna just agree with you guys. Lance Archer, he makes the most sense. Brian Cage, if he hadn't won it before, I would say that he would be a good candidate to get it this time. But
they're not gonna have him do it twice. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. The to be announced could be interesting, but do keep in mind that for the first Casino Battle Royale, the Joker was Hangman Adam Page, who wasn't a new person. So it's not necessarily someone new. It could be someone returning. I don't know what Pac's situation is, but he would be an interesting return if he was allowed to come back. But I don't know about that.
So if you could just throw in a guess, random guess, who do you think?
Of who the TVA?
Yep. If you just say it doesn't matter, if a random guess, I think that'll be fun. Let's see. I have a name in my head already.
Uh-oh.
I'll just say Pac. I'll say Pac.
All right.
I'll say Pac. I'm going to say Lance Archer wins this.
All right. You say Pac. I say Warhorse. Why not? Fuck it.
Warhorse?
Yeah, why not? Throw him back and bring him back.
No.
He got a huge response online when he had that match. So, you know what? Why not?
Bad.
Why not?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Doesn't mean he's going to win it.
Warhorse trend. Sign Warhorse did not trend.
No. They're going to sign him, but they'll take a shot.
No.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
No.
Why isn't Brian Cage defending the belt?
They don't. That was a whole. Man.
Well, Tony Khan actually stated something in regards to the FTW situation, and that he did state that they have very big plans for the belt being defended, and then who is going to be, involved in that. But for the moment right now, if that plan is not going, I'm not going to say it's not going to be started, but it's going to get bigger. So it has to wait until it's going to escalate. But they have not forgotten about the title, even though it feels like it. And he stated that the title will be treated differently.
But they're already saying it wrong. Like the Taz came out this week. Did you hear what he called it? He called it the FTW World Heavyweight Championship. It's not the World Heavyweight Championship. It's just an FTW belt. Fuck the world belt. It's nothing. It's not really. I mean, what is it? It's nothing. It's just a belt. It's not a heavyweight. It's not an actual division title or of any sort. It's a gimmick. It's like the 24/7.
Well, yeah, it's a gimmick, just like what was it? The TV title.
No, the TV
really
title,
matter.
it was that you had to defend it on TV. That belt was guaranteed. So if you didn't get a heavyweight title match or intercontinental, you were guaranteed to get a TV title because that's the way you had to defend it. It had to be on TV. So you always knew there was going to be a match. And that's when Rob Van Dam, because he had that with the ECW, that was when he was Mr. Monday Night. That was the whole point.
Well, here's the
Oh, no, go ahead.
no, the very important part in regards to that title, which kind of scares me, is he's saying I'm working on a pilot and that it's a different kind of project than the way you see the wrestling titles defended traditionally. It's very different from obviously how we use the world heavyweight title and the TNT title. So I don't know if this means some form of like, I would hate to say like a Raw Underground type of thing or like an ECW segment.
Maybe.
But
It's got to be a hardcore then. You got to make it violent, and it's got to be separate, but it has to be done in a unique way then.
Well,
but what we see when it comes to violence, it doesn't really play well with the audience. I mean, even accidental violence or even a thumbtack situation.
Yeah.
People have, been very outspoken to say no.
Yeah. Like Cody and Kingston.
The only reason why I asked that question is because I feel like you've already had Brian Cage win the Battle Royal. So I feel like he shouldn't even be in the Battle Royal. He could have had like a hardcore match with Darby Allin or something with that's on the line. And I think that would have been a better use of him on this card than throwing him into a Battle Royal. If he's not going to win it, it doesn't make sense for him to be in that.
Because they still have their own beef.
Yeah.
And that's not getting resolved at this show. So...
Yeah, so hey, as y'all said, they have long-term plans. So let's wait and see what the plans are for the belt.
Could regard another TV deal.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that rumor from a while ago? They was having another spinoff.
Yeah.
Maybe something on a Thursday.
Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, it lives up to whatever it is, or maybe he's just blowing smoke. And he just wants us to keep guessing. All right.
AEW Underground.
There you go. Oh, man, please. All right. So, match number 4. Here we go. This is my favorite one. What's this? Shida versus Thunder Rose. Women's AEW Women's Tag for the singles match. God, I'm messing this whole match up. So, Shida versus Thunder Rose. Shida is the champ. Women's champ defending the AEW Women's title against Thunder Rose. This one... I feel, and we all have our own views. No, actually, no, we don't. We all agree. The women's division is kind of hurt in AEW. We know it. Yes, they need Britt Baker. She was key. Big Swole is key. But a lot of the other talent not living up to par. But Shida is. And she's put in that spit shine prestige on this belt. So I say she needs to retain at least a few more matches. She needs that time under it. Because they don't have that right now. They haven't had a long running defending female champ. And she's the perfect person for it right now. So I don't care who they put in front of her. I think she needs to retain. Just to get that prestige status on that women's title. So I will go quick with Shida. What about you, Dana?
You mean to tell me you don't find Ray Chanel and Adrian to be a draw?
No, I do not. Next.
In regards to this,
they know it. There's a lot of work, and they need a lot of established talent on it. That division needs the same type of spit shine love that they're overdoing for the men's roster. We're getting all these big talents from other promotions. They need to do the same. There's so many quality female talent that were in Impact, that were in Ring of Honor, the Knockouts and all that stuff, and of course WWE. And they right now it looks like they've just been cherry picking everybody from Japan, and that's fine and all. But there's a lot of talent here. And maybe that's it. Maybe there's some other things going on. There's a style clash. I don't know what it is. But they're not meshing well. The talent just is not putting their matches well together. It's coming off pretty sloppy. We've all seen it. Even when you want to give them the benefit of doubt. Every time a female match comes up, I get cringeworthy of certain people that are in there. Like, oh, this person's going to botch this. Something's not going to go right. So...
Yeah, I think that they should work on training first. That would be nice. But in regards to this match, Thunder Rosa comes from the women's tournament thingy, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe
I'm
so.
pretty sure they had that.
They had that women's tournament thing where they was just, trying to find women literally anywhere, and that's why Dasha was a part of it. But in regards to this, Thunder Rose is passable, and she's not bad. But the thing is, I don't know how to say this. I really wish Sheeta was given, real competition so that these matches could shine and, put a spotlight on these women and in the division. But I don't think we're going to get that because, AEW is facing a lot of competition, especially since when you have people like WWE literally picking up every talent that has ever crossed paths anywhere and then training them in the PC, which is something that AEW really needs. They need that training facility for women. But in regards to this match, Sheeta is going to win. I hope Thunder Rose is, not bad, but I see Sheeta.
She just needs to keep her for a while. They need to keep cooking that.
Well, what else are they going to do? Give it back to Nile? Ray Chanel?
Please, no.
In the wig?
See, there you go. All right, Ricky, what do you got?
So the thing to keep in mind with Thunder Rosa is that she's the reigning NWA Women's Champion.
But is that still happening now? Like, that's...
I don't know what they're doing at the NWA, and that's why I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa winning. Because this is the impression I'm getting from it. I could be completely wrong. But like right now, with the NWA Power on ice, this gives one of their talent in NWA a chance to do something. So they might be doing some kind of like partnership between two companies. And I'm not so sure that NWA would still agree to it, to just have their champion job out. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a weird thing.
But then to have that person win another promotion's title?
Yeah, I mean, if she's going to be around for more than just one night, then why not? Because that women's roster is thin. It's very thin, and if you put the belt on Thunder Rosa, that's a new face. It's a new name. Because right now, let's say Hikaru Shida wins and retains. What's next? To go against Nyla Rose again?
There you go.
I mean,
and Vicky Guerrero, which has that calendar out, by the way.
I mean, that's probably let's change the topic.
You sure you don't want the towel? It has a towel.
I thought you were gonna pre-order that. You didn't pre-order yet? Hold on. I'll send you the link.
You know you want that good.
But now that you mentioned Nyla Rose, it's like, well, shit. I mean, if Hikaru Shida does retain, then it would make sense that Nyla Rose would be the one to win it back. So I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say Hikaru Shida actually retains, but we may not see the last of Thunder Rosa. Is all I'm saying.
All right, Rich.
Yeah. Very easily put, Sheeta retains because the story they're telling is that Nyla Rose is going to be the one that's going to try and get the belt back. You're not going to bring in Vicky Guerrero just to not try to do something with Nyla Rose.
And it's regardless who wins this. She's seeing herself as the next in line. So.
That's true.
So, we'll see. But it does throw it, because that's why I didn't mention the whole thing with the power title NWA, because I'm like, why would they give someone who has a title another promotion's title, and unless they know it's long term. If it's long term, then I guess, but they're not really pushing it in that direction, so I don't know.
But you know what?
It could be a thing of her mentioning being the NWA Women's Champion to kind of put her over as a threat.
Yeah.
But what are you going to say, Rich?
But you know what? Since y'all made the comment about NWA being on ice and they're making use of having Herb show up here, that makes me think that the to be determined person in the battle royal might be an NWA person.
It could be. It could be their champ. What's her name's husband?
Nick,
Mickey James' husband.
Aldis.
Yeah, Nick Aldis.
Yep.
There. Yep.
Aldis. Yep.
That would be
that would be pretty good.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Or what's his name? Sandow. He's over there too. Damien Sandow. I forgot his real name, but he's also over in Power. All right. So we'll see. But either way, it looks like we're not really into this match. That's the bottom line, because the end result doesn't seem to materialize anything interesting when it comes to the next matchup. But
and that's so sad, because you have
sad.
Hikaru, who seems to be, carrying the women's division on her shoulder and back and head and spine and everything else.
And she's going to have to keep doing that until they start bringing up some other quality performers. And if not even just quality, but those that can all work together, because that's what it is. There's a lot of quality, but for some reason, there's no chemistry. Chemistry just isn't there in these matches. Right? But this one, we have two teams with plenty of chemistry. Match number 3, Kenny Omega, Adam Page versus, fucking guys, FTR, man. I don't like them. I never liked them. I didn't like Revival. I don't like them. I'm just, something about them rubbed me the wrong way. It's always been that way. All the way back NXT, a whole thing, it just doesn't. I'm not behind it, but I'm fearful that this is it. They're going to get this title because this is for the Tag Team Championship. And I could easily see them winning this, because for the longest time they've been teasing the Kenny Omega and Page breakup, back and forth. We've seen that at a few of the shows where it looked like Page was about to hit his finisher on Kenny. Remember? After they won a match and the whole thing's like, oh, this is it. He's setting him up. No, he's not. They've hinted numerous times, or even when at that pay-per-view event when Kenny Omega found Page in the bar. Remember, because the horse was in the front. And then he went to the bar and he saw him, drinking. It's like, they've always hinted that this tag team was already on the ropes. It's had its issues, and it was going to implode. And here it is. We got FTR. They got their title shot. How long have they been there? It feels like only like a handful of months. Right? And this is it. Mm-hmm. Now they get the title shot. So, F it. I see them. I just see them winning. They got Tully with them. Maybe it'll be a dirty win. And that'll cause for a rematch. But then again, I think this is also, they're using this as the end for the Adam Page, Kenny Omega team. Because they never even came up with a tag. That's the thing. That's always been the thing. When you have two guys that are singles, normally singles competitors, and you pair them up and you create a tag team, over time you then say, if this is going to be legit, you make them a tag team, right? You give them a tag team name. We saw that with Sheamus, Cesaro, remember, The Bar. We've seen this with a bunch of other groups. They've all pulled this. Hell, we have it now with the Natural Nightmares. So this happens when you're going to establish as a legit tag team. These two have never done it. It's just always Kenny Omega and Adam Page. They've been champs for half a year now, right? I feel like it's been 5-6 months. If not longer. I just feel like it's been forever. And they're still singles guys. Just together as tag team belts. As tag team champs. So, I'll just go with FTR. I'm not a fan of them, but I have a feeling that's the road they're going down. What about you, Ricky? What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be FTR. To answer your question earlier, Kenny Omega and Adam Page have had the belt since January 21st. So that's 227 days and counting.
Shit. Too long.
Long reign.
And they're still listed as just single guys. That's what I'm saying. It's like, shit, just make a tag team name or something.
Right. I mean, it's like they've put it off for so long. There were so many tag teams, like actual tag teams. Not to say that Kenny Omega and Hangman haven't been a good tag team themselves. They've been excellent. But I'm talking about, like, tag team by trade. There's been a lot of those that have come and they've fallen. And FTR it's the right time for Omega and Page to drop the titles. And the thing is now, it's like, who's going to split? Who's going to be the heel that caused the split? Is either of them going to be a heel? Is it just going to be an amicable breakup or what? They were teasing there was going to be Hangman. Then they were teasing there was going to be Omega, and then they were teasing Hangman again. I think it's going to be Omega. It's going to be the one to go heel. That will lead to some other stuff in the solo division, which I'll go into later. But FTR with them pairing up with them teaming up with Tully Blanchard as the manager, they're getting that push. We can get ready for it because then Young Bucks are going to come after them, and that's going to be the big feud. That's how the Young Bucks will eventually get their first AEW Tag Title ring off of FTR. That's the feud that we've been waiting for. So, FTR is going to win the tag belt.
FTR. All right, Rich.
Yeah. Yes, FTR wins. Pretty much everything that y'all said is what I was going to say. I definitely would expect the Kenny Omega and Adam Page team to end officially at this event, because you have to have some things happen at this event as some major talking points after the show is over. We have already seen major things happen that have been teased for the longest time with WWE tonight on SmackDown. So, yeah, I 100% expect AEW to take the same route, make things interesting, have these guys break up already, and then you could tell that story about what happens next for both of them. But yeah, FTR wins it, because what other team is going to take the belts off of them, and who was going to do it if not FTR? And I think FTR is the team for right now. But yes, that's what I see.
That's right. That's true. For the longest time, I was hoping that it would be Luchasaurus. I mean, Jurassic Express. And that never happened. They never got to that point. So there goes that. Dana?
In regards to this match, clearly we're gonna have the Adam Page and what's his face?
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, lose and continue to feud, and Omega called Page a junkie, and we'll have that because and we kind of seen flickers of Adam Page being a heel, and then he was not a heel, but he seemed like a conflicted heel.
Well, they were trying to. Yeah, because they were trying to make it seem like he was battling substance abuse, right? They were going down that.
No, it wasn't just like the whole substance abuse situation. It seemed like he was conflicted. Remember when he made them lose the match, the Young Bucks? They lost the tag match, and he had like that kind of moment where he was like, I don't know, kind of situation, and he was really like kind of hurt about his decision of making them lose, and they was like, you're out of the group. And he didn't really get angry about it or storm away. He just seemed kind of like conflicted. So I don't really know where they're going with this in regards to who's going to be the heel and the face. But I like where they're going with this because they, it was a while they've been together and they need to break up. And I think they work great separately. So it's not like we're losing something. So I see them losing this match and going their separate ways, and him being a junkie or whatever it is doing.
Yeah, I agree. It's time, and I was just never sold on them as a tag team. It just never did anything for me.
I like them. Well, no, really? Even the whole Stadium Stampede, and he was like, pouring the milk and the alcohol.
I get that, but for them as a tag team, when I saw that they paired up the first time, I was like, oh wow, that never happened for me. I was like, oh, this has to be a one-off. This has to be temporary, right? And look, Ricky just confirmed this shit's been going on since January, so no, it's too long. All right, so here's the next one. This should be fun, and this one, I'm not. Man, they should have just really picked a proper ending for this. So this is Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. It's listed as a Mimosa match. So I thought
it's a Mimosa Mayhem match.
Yeah, Mimosa Mayhem match. But I thought that the way to win was to throw your opponent into this this big tub of mimosa that's going to be there. But it says here that you could also win by a pinfall or submission. I'm like, no, they shouldn't have that. It should just be throw them in the tub, right, into that pit or whatever they have.
Yeah, I think it's to build up suspense so that like during the match there's going to be some pinfall attempt.
Because think about it, if let's say no one gets tossed in and this ends in a submission or a pinfall, people are going to be pissed. No, I want to see someone get tossed into the mimosa.
I mean, there's nothing to say that whoever that Jericho doesn't get tossed in anyway. You know what I mean?
No,
Afterwards, but
that's not what happens.
You saw this? You saw this match?
that's not WWE.
I didn't. No, that's not what happens with the match. In regards to, you can win either pinfall or submission, and then you throw in the opponent, the loser, in the mimosa.
No.
It says all three ways. You could win by tossing them in. You could win by pinfall or submission. You don't pin them and submit them and then toss them in.
Match can be won by pinfall, submission, or throwing the opponent into a tank of mimosa. And Jericho even said it himself on one of the episodes. So I think that whole thing is the winner is going to win by tossing someone in the mimosa. Mm-hmm. The pinfall submission is just to build up suspense during the match. That's really all that's there for, in my opinion.
I don't know. It's like with an Inferno match. I think whenever we had the Inferno matches, it was always you had to burn them. That was it. Someone had to get set on fire. If they would have just thrown in, well, we could also end this by submission or pinfall. People like, well, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want that as an option. I want just burn or nothing. So the same type of thing. I just want to see somebody get tossed. I want to know that that's a definite, that somebody will get tossed. So I don't know. With this one, I think it's clear though, since it's a tossing, and that's definitely what people want to see. Jericho is getting tossed. This is the best way for him to lose because they're not going to have him lose again clean. It's not happening.
Right.
Definitely.
He's not going to get pinned.
No, he's not going to get pinned. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no way. It's not happening. But to toss him in a tank, yeah, they could have something like that happen. This is because then that's just a gimmick win. That doesn't really count as anything. That'll always go down. Oh, did he win? Yeah, he won at that pay-per-view. But he tossed him in the tank. That wasn't like, oh, he made him tap. Or he pinned him legit. Oh. So I'll just say gets tossed in the tank and Orange Cassidy wins. So
yep,
that's
I agree.
Rich, all right, you agree, and Rich, what do you got for this one?
Yeah. Orange Cassidy is going to win. I just wanted to make a quick comment and say I recall on this show previously when Chris Jericho had his singles match against Orange Cassidy. I believe I was the only one that said Chris Jericho's winning this, and everyone else was on here like, "Oh no, Cassidy, Orange Cassidy is over. He must win. He's going to win." So no, I was right. Now
you were right. You're right.
It's going to win this weekend.
All right, and Dana.
Yes. So, like I was saying before, my internet was being disrespectful, is that in order to win the match, you can win by pinfall, submission, or whatever, and then you throw the opponent into the mimosa. For this, I really I want Orange Cassidy to win, but he's been on such an amazing roll that it doesn't matter if he loses. But in regards to this, I just really want him to win. Because either way, it's going to be an amazing match.
I think it just makes sense for him to win this type of gimmick match, because we already seen the whole reaction when Jericho had the juice all over him, and it would just be even better to see him just get dipped into this and come out like, my hair and all the whole thing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they both played it off really well. Remember, they beat Orange Cassidy with a bag of oranges.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and then they made him they dumped champagne on him during the last time. Mm-hmm. So, either one works really well. But in regards to overacting, obviously it's going to be Jericho.
Yeah. Mm. All right. And this is it. The main event. Jon Moxley, champion, versus MJF with his boy Wardlow. And this is for the title. This is it. And I feel like a broken record because so far, almost past two title matches, I've had Jon Moxley drop the title. And I'm just going to run into it now. He's going to lose this one. MJF, fuck it. I think if there's anyone that can beat Kazuma, we talked about this before. Who else besides Cage, who at the time is going to be able to win this title? We thought Lance Archer was going to have a long run toward the title. That didn't happen. None of that happened. So Then who? Because he was beating everyone. Brody Lee, he destroyed Brody Lee. So what else? What do we have here? We had what's his name from We the People? Jake Hager. Remember, they were sort of hyping him up. They were sort of pushing that direction. That didn't materialize. That's done. Jericho feud thing, that's done. Cody, that's not happening. Cody's gone. That's it. So who else? Who else? Well, we got MJF. And then after that, that's it. And so when you think of to give the belt to someone, it makes sense it gets to MJF because he's a quality guy in the ring, but he's amazing on the mic. Right? He can sell a promo. He can get the whole thing going on with a feud. And he's a great heel. He's your traditional heel that just sells the matches. You know, he gets everyone riled up and pissed off, and they hate him. And they'll hate him even more if he's a champ who took it from their babyface in a dirty way. And I see that happening. Wardlow's going to help. He's going to walk away with this, and he's going to win. And that's it. And I also still think that Moxley's going to take some time off. I still think he's going to take some time off, especially now with Renee. She's done with her job at WWE. Take a vacation. This is it. Take some time. They've had a crazy few months with the COVID and all this craziness going on. And I think this is it. Let him take some time. He's had that title long enough. What, over a year, right? Has it been over a year?
Yep.
So...
No, not. He won the title at Revolution, I think back in February. So it's
almost
half a year.
Yeah, half a year. All right, half a year. And so I think when it comes to quality opponents, MJF is the only viable answer right now because he can sell the match. He's a great heel. He's over in regards of being a heel. He's established in that, and the people will respect it. And if he wins by a dirty finish, especially with Wardlow, people definitely get over it. So I could see that. It's just time. Because again, if Moxley beats MJF, who's next? It's definitely going to be whoever wins our bank. And if it's not Lance Archer, then it's just I don't know. I don't think it'll be enough. I think this is it. They've been pushing MJF for the longest time, and this will be the icing on the cake for that. So MJF for me. What about you, Rich?
So let me just say right now, I agree with everything that you said. MJF, but also everything you said is correct. Great on the mic, great heel. But the biggest thing to me is this guy isn't a WWE guy. And that's the one thing that I don't like about AEW, where everybody that has held a title, they have been in WWE. From Cody, now you have Cody lost his belt to Luke Harper, a.k.a. Brody Lee. Now, we had Jericho, who was the champion, lost his belt to John Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose. So I want AEW to put faith in somebody who was actually on the roster that is not a former WWE guy. And MJF is the guy that can do that. Of course, everybody is going to write off and say he's not going to do it because they don't want to take this guy serious to the extent that he can be a world champion.
Oh, I think.
But because, well, I would hope so. But that is exactly why you give him the belt and you just let him go and do what he can do. Because again, he is the heel that can get underneath your skin and be a wise ass. They need that. 100% MJF is my pick for this. And I will give an apology to my very good friend Ricardo, because he is a John Moxley mark. But that's just my opinion. I think it's time for someone else to get
That's why I'm saving him for last. Dana, what do you got for this? Dana, you're mute. Unmute. All right.
Am I unmuted? Okay.
Now you're muted.
Yeah.
Now I hear you. There you go.
The computer takes forever to follow directions. No, everything that you guys said, I completely agree with wholeheartedly. MJF is ridiculously talented, and he's still very young, which makes him even more talented. It's crazy. But yeah, I definitely want him to win, and Dean Ambrose should have never had the title to begin with.
There you go. She still called him Dean Ambrose. See, another sign of disrespect. Sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Dean
That's
Moxley.
it. That's all right. We see where you stand. There you go. There you go. All right, Ricky, this is your boy. He's still the champ. Hell, he's still the champ with New Japan. He still has one of their titles. So, what do you think? What's going to happen here?
So, I think it's interesting that you mentioned New Japan. I think he will drop the New Japan U.S. title before he drops the AEW title. He is retaining on Saturday, and you will like it. So here's my reason. Okay, so as you may know, he's overtaken Jericho as the longest reigning AEW champion. Unfortunately, this has come at a really bad time because it all happened. The pandemic happened shortly after he won the belt, so he hasn't had a lot of time to be the champ in front of the crowd. He's suffering from what Drew McIntyre is suffering over in WWE, basically. Moxley. So I'm going to say this: Moxley's not going to hold the belt forever, obviously. I am surprised that MJF is the guy that they chose as his. I guess I'm kind of surprised that MJF is the guy that they chose as his All Out opponent for the main event. I love MJF. He's a very entertaining heel. I was just a little surprised they put him in the main event this quickly. Because I've seen him as kind of an upper mid card act, but I don't know. Like, I don't see them giving him that belt right now. I think that he's gonna get it sooner or later. I don't think it's gonna be right now. Who I think is gonna get it is someone that I mentioned earlier. That is the cleaner, Kenny Omega. I mentioned that Kenny Omega is going to turn heel. I still believe that's going to happen. And Kenny Omega will be the one to take the belt off of Moxley after Moxley's done with MJF.
Wait, question though, with this casino thing, if they get the chip, can they just cash in whenever they want, or it has to be a scheduled match?
I think it's whenever they want. I think it's similar to the Money in the Bank. I am not entirely clear. I'm not sure if they have to declare it ahead of time, because I think that's what they did with Cage, is that he was like, he announced it ahead of time.
Yeah, that's right, because he didn't. Because I'm just thinking, if this happens, let's say he wins, and let's say our boy, what we wanted with Lance Archer, if he wins, if he runs down and cashes in, I mean, can he cash in? If that is a possibility, then that throws a nice curveball to the whole main event.
And I say this as a big fan. So I say as a big fan of Moxley, I wouldn't mind that outcome. Like, I feel like Archer is more deserving of that spot than MJF is right now, with all due respect to everyone.
Wow, look at that.
Now, granted, Lance Archer's a former WWE guy, so they'll give you another thing to complain about.
But it never really worked out for him there. He didn't have a successful run there.
I mean, sure, but he was still with the company.
MJF was there too. If you've seen the footage where he played a bouncer, he was a behind-the-scenes guy. They show this one great scene where he was one of the bouncers, security walking with Samoa Joe, and he almost stepped in front, and Samoa Joe had to push him back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't count that. That's like, they every location they go to, they find local indie guys to play those roles. So, but yeah, I mean, the thing that's a wild card here, obviously, is the paradigm shift being banned. Whether that's going to be the reason why Moxley loses because he doesn't get to use it. I think that there'll come a time where the referee's knocked out, because that happens in every promotion, and Moxley's going to use it. I don't know if he'll be able to pin him right then and there. He's going to use the paradigm shift at some point in the match. I believe that, just when the referee's not looking. How he would beat MJF would have to be something else, like a submission or whatever. But I think that, should I be right and Moxley retains, that Kenny Omega will be the one to take the belt off of him, because you've built up Moxley really strong at this point. You need someone that's like holy shit, and heel Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, period. And you have him as a heel. everything would come full circle. Because remember how Moxley debuted? He attacked Kenny Omega.
Well, that's long-term thinking. So right now you're saying he's going to keep this title until that point. Because think about it. I agree with that. That would be fun. But if, let's say, this whole thing with Kenny Omega and Paige ends, they're going to be feuding for a while. That's not going to be we're breaking up and we're going our separate ways. I see them feuding.
That could happen, but but you also can't rule out the possibility that when Kenny Omega and Paige feud, that Kenny Omega takes Paige out of commission for a while, sets his eyes on Moxley, gets the belt off Moxley, and that sets up Omega as the champion defending against Paige.
I still think that's later on, because then whoever wins that chip match, they're obviously going to have the next shot at the title. So that's still another match. So we're still looking a few months ahead if that Kenny Omega does materialize. That's way up.
Like the thing with the chip is that it doesn't necessarily mean that person's next in line. That's whenever they want to do it. Mm-hmm. Brian Cage just said, "Give it to me now," and took the took the next. He was like, "Okay, I'm next in line." This is just a future championship match whenever you want. And there's no guarantee that Archer's going to be the guy that wins it. I just think that he would make the most sense. But that being said, like, I don't think.
So you think he's going to win, though? He's going to retain?
I think Moxley's going to retain because I don't think MJF is the guy that's going to take it off of him. I don't think, I don't see it.
I see it only from help. It's going to be a dirty way. It's going to be a sneaky way, and that's the heel way to do things.
Yeah, of course. It would have to be something like that where, MJF's already working with a handicap that Mox can't use his finishing move.
Yeah.
He has Wardlow on it, so he already has a few things going for him. You may have a third person involved that comes in and screws Moxley over. It will take all of that to have MJF win. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm dragging things out here, but I'm kind of thinking out loud here. So let's say MJF
Renee comes in.
I'm sorry?
Renee comes in.
Renee comes in to help. There you go.
Oh,
can she show up? Can Renee show up?
Yes,
she can. She can. So she's gone. So she could show up. So you know what? Hey, maybe she does come down and she interferes in some way. Just her appearance, like, oh wait, what's going on here?
She's a free agent.
She does that. Yeah, she creates a distraction with the ref, which lets him do his paradigm shift. There you go. That's how he's able to pull it off. Because the ref is like, hey, no, get off the apron, that type of thing. Well,
again, this is the other thing is that Moxley's already got all this stuff going against him, so this would be him beating the odds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have a lot of that on this pay-per-view. We have a lot of that.
With Matt Hardy, his thing.
Yeah, Matt Hardy, and then with the Britt Baker and all this. So.
Look, again, I like MJF. If he wins it, great. That means that they're putting their faith behind their youth, that they're trying to build up a new star, and I hope it works out. My instinct is that Moxley retains. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. All right. Well, that was it. This was our rundown discussion prediction for AEW All Out 2020, which is September 5th. That's tomorrow or today. This is late night Friday, so it's today. But you know what? It sounds like it's going to be a good card. The more I think about it, the more I'm excited for a lot of these matches, just to see what happens, right? And that's what we want. We don't want a match that's fully predictable. No one wants one of those. Everyone hates those type of matches, those type of cards, because it's not fun. There's a lot of what ifs on this card. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And then we'll see the outcome on Dynamite. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in, whether it's checking us out on Spotify or on iTunes and YouTube or wherever else people seem to find this. And thanks a lot for listening, sharing, and supporting. And again, I was your host, Adam Vale, joined by Dana Abercrombie, Richard Bailey Jr., and Ricardo Negron, all from the Koalition. Have a great weekend and holiday weekend, and we will see you at the next pay-per-view, which I think is a WWE show, right?
The champion.
Clash of Champions.
Once they figure out the date.
Figure out the date and figure out the real
20th.
status of Roman Reigns. I think he's just a sellout. He's not really a heel. And there you go. Peace, everybody. Peace.